And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. It's another beautiful Tuesday out here, and boy, do we have some crypto news for you today. But first things first, I want to get into a little live train on Kucoin and show you what we got here, because the market is dumping it out here to the downside in the short term at least. And so I'm going to start out with my analysis on Ethereum. I do believe Ethereum is going to have more downside, and I'm going to take this trade really quick because it is happening before our very eyes. So if you're going short, I'm going to add to my position, already in a profit here, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. So let's go another 50% here. And I'm going to put my stop loss in right above here. I do believe we have a tick just above this 1397. Probably going to get a run up to that 21. But I don't think that's the case right now. And I'll go over those reasons in just a moment. So how do I like to mark it off? So it's above the range high right here, or the prior high. And I'm going to put that in right there at 1399. So where do you put your stop loss in? Right there, 1399. I'm an all or nothing type of guy, so I'm willing to risk 24.51 for the rest of the downside on this move. And let's get right into why I'm taking a look at Ethereum on the hourly time frame, and this being a bit of a backfill up probably to the 618. So from the high to the low, fib retracement. What do you know? Bull traps come in right at the 618, and close enough is close enough. We got 5 minutes left on this candle. Now, if we go down to the 5-minute time frame, yes, I do think possibly we could head up a little bit higher here, up to that green 55, where I will add a bit more, and that will confirm some more bearish divergence on the 5-hour time frame, excuse me, the 5-minute time frame, which I do believe we in fact have multiple drives of hidden bullish divergence, and that is where price is making lower lows, as you can see, a slew of lower lows from this point here, and we've got higher highs and higher lows on the RSI, at least 1, 2, 3. That's usually enough to get you to the green 55. However, bounces are going to be weak, and it looks like it is getting stopped out there at the 0.5 fib retracement, but I do think this could have a little more to go. So what I'll do, I'll add another 25% here at 1384. So I'll go to my limit orders here. So if we do come back up to about 1384, I'll add 25%. So how do I do that? 1384, should I'll add another 50%, 75%, and I'll do that right there at 1384. Okay. So if we come back up to 1384, which is on the 5-minute time frame, coming in at that green 55, that is the 618 fib, and that's also the 618 fib on the hourly time frame. So yeah, we could come out up there. But what am I seeing here? First off, and why I think this rally was a bit weak in the first place was this guy right here. The NASDAQ was never able to take out this high. Even though Bitcoin got really bullish, this is a very similar top to what we're seeing in Bitcoin. Bitcoin kind of leading the market, already down here to the, which would be probably that is almost the 0.5, but we're already below the 236 here. Took out the 382. If we close anywhere here or lower, yes, I am expecting NASDAQ to come down to about 11,951 ahead of the GDP meeting. And so not only are stocks already down 30% from the highs, right? We've got the highest inflation we've seen in 41 years, came in at 9.1%. Mr. Biden came out yesterday and said, oh, we're not really in a recession. We're going to redefine the terms of a recession, even though We've been defining a recession as 2 negative quarters of GDP growth for the last 100 years. Now he's going to come out and say, oh, we're going to change the economic term. Absolutely crazy if you ask me. So not only is NASDAQ down almost 2%, you got the dollar rallying. This is bullish right here, and any kind of a dollar closure above the wick highs today at 107.39 and 39 cents, which may or may not happen today, but that would just be another higher low, and I'd be looking for a higher high to come in. Where's that higher high likely going to come in at? Probably, I'll move this target there. We already hit our 109 target to the T. I mean, just nailed it. As the dollar goes up, stocks go down, Bitcoin goes down. That's just the typical way it goes. So if you want to start tracking and learning about how to track the dollar, the NASDAQ, Bitcoin, hey, we have a link in the description below. You can set up TradingView for free. And by the way, if you want to put Bitcoin or cryptos in your IRA, we've got a link for that too. Just a quick little shill there. All right, let's get back into it. And what was I saying? So as you can see on NASDAQ, we're already down to the 0.5, just kissing it right there. Could get a little bounce. That is kind of your, well, really, here's your last chance for love on the NASDAQ, 11,936. If we close below there, completely failed rally, and I would expect this thing to get totally shellacked to the downside. And we can take this a little further and draw out a nice little trend line right here. And a measure move off of this ascending triangle would put the NASDAQ all the way down, 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 down to doggy town. And I do believe if we get some negative GDP numbers and we're getting a 75 basis point rate hike, oh, look at that. Lines up perfectly with the 1618 fib. And maybe the risk off environment. So yeah, we're already down to that level, which correlates with NASDAQ coming down to this level, if you ask me. But getting back on into it, with a weak NASDAQ and a strong dollar, that's the perfect recipe for some more downside, if you ask me, on Bitcoin, which Bitcoin seems to be taking the reins right now and leading us to the downside. And I did say yesterday, very, very likely, based on the 4-hour time frame and the 4-hour closure below, I believe I said yesterday it was 22.2. Yeah. As soon as we took out this guy right here, I said very likely Bitcoin's going to come all the way down to 20,000. We might get a small bounce in between there. And what else do you have right here? The death cross. What is a death cross? Let's take off all of our things here. That is when excuse me. How do I express this? How do I express this in words that make sense? Bitcoin leads the market, right? NASDAQ had a little bit of a relief rally off of what I was saying is the BitBoy shill, right? BitBoy was shilling Ethereum and the new merger, which good for him. I'm glad it rallied. And if you could have taken advantage of that, good for you. The question is, once you're in a profit, right? How do you take those profits and run to the moon with them? Otherwise, those profits, those paper profits, right? They turn into realized losses and a whole lot of frustration along the way. And what do you know? Did my order get hit? No, look how close it got. Look how that should have got hit. I mean, that's what the exchanges do. They like to get you so close. And I had it in at 1384. This thing hit 1384 and 4 cents. As we did say on the 5-minute time frame, maybe it'll come back up there and test it for me. But very, very likely that is where those moves like to get hit. So maybe I will, based on the next 5-minute closure, just go ahead and add my short. And hey, I could get stopped out here at 1387. I believe that is where, no, at 1399. That was my entry price. So there the order got hit. Order got hit. And I'm going to get taken out of this trade, it looks like here. Maybe I get rid of my stop loss. Well, that's part of trading. Sometimes you get stopped out, and that's okay, because we can get back into the short side for the rest of the move here. And this thing could come all the way up here. I mean, really, wouldn't be asking too much for us to get even a little higher, even though NASDAQ and the dollar are coming to the upside. And sometimes I think that is just the exchanges. They want to stop you out of these trades. They want to take those profits from you. And that's why you got to put a stop loss in there and reevaluate what your ideas are. That's what I get for trading on live stream. Just kidding. All right. So back into my thoughts here on Bitcoin. On the daily time frame, we're talking about Bitcoin coming down to, likely down to this region right here over time, especially with GDP and the rate hike, which was already priced in. And the 618, again, that is your bull trap and your bear trap area. So, hey, maybe we get a bounce right here on the daily time frame. Only time will tell. And, you know, NASDAQ and S&P can always reverse and make a little move to the downside. Okay, what else? What else do we got here? So just wrapping up my thoughts real quick on Bitcoin. I do believe with all the bearish things on the board, right? China just began lockdowns again. We got the second quarter of negative GDP growth to be announced on Friday. We've got the Russia and Ukraine war still active. It seems like everybody forgot. And inflation at 9.1%. What do you guys think this means for the stock market? Let me know with your thoughts below. And yeah, what do you think happened the last few times inflation came in higher than expected? If GDP, negative GDP comes in higher than expected, as I imagine the Biden house was prepping everybody for, I don't think it's going to, personally, I don't think it's going to be good for the markets. Hey, I could be wrong. But here is the last chance for love on those bulls. And why I do think there is still a chance we could just reverse it back up and kind of do everything opposite of what I'm talking about. And here's what it would be. Let me go ahead and take this off here. No. Here's what I would say. You look at the weekly time frame, and the weekly time frame, we had Stokes cross up from a very low level, and every time that has happened, I'll show you the last few times it has happened. So we got this cross up here, and how about I mark these off with some horizontals, make it easier, or some vertical lines here. So we got this cross right here. Where did it happen? The official cross right there. We'll call that the cross. We got this one right here. Boom. We've got this one right here. Boom. So let's just look at the last three. You want to go back and go 4 here? Let's go with the 4th one right here. Boom. And then we will line it up with what has happened consistently with the price action. So let's see. Did I get stopped out? Yes, I did. I should have got stopped out. And that's the other thing about good old Kucoin. Your stops don't always get triggered in volatile markets. And that's what they openly say to you is, hey, in volatile markets, sometimes you won't even get stopped out when you put a stop in. What is this? On the 5-minute time frame, on the hourly, which we just had an hourly closure. And should we get rejected off of this guy now? So this is a peculiar situation in which I would like to show what to do in the case of a emergency like this. You can always limit out, which is pretty simple here. So you would have to take your stop off, because what's going to happen as we reject off this 9 exponential and it comes back and touches this, that's when you're going to get stopped out. Something I've learned over many years of trading, and sometimes in volatile markets, as they say, your stop will not get triggered. So how do you minimize your losses from this point? And where do we look for a target? And we did say, hey, look, any kind of a tick above 13.99, maybe that's why I didn't get stopped out. It was at 13.99. Did we already cross 13.99? We did not. 13.99. No, we didn't. Okay, that's why I didn't get stopped out yet. So, question is, do we want to add a little bit more and look for the market to turn up, or do we want to just short more off of the green 55? My liquidation price is way up there, so I don't even have to worry about. And that's what's nice about a 5x levered trade, is you don't have to worry about much. You really don't. But back on the weekly time frame, we did mark these off as what happens when the Stokes cross up. And actually, why don't we mark off one last time where the Stokes have crossed up, and we did just get the cross up right here. Right here. So, are we just getting a backfill on last week's open? And this is the chance for the bulls. This is the chance for the bulls. Off. That's me directing all calls to my assistant at the moment. Can't interrupt the live stream right now. And that's that. All right. So getting 18 minutes into the video, we're going to talk about why the bulls have a chance, which I don't think is a likely chance, but could be a chance here. You're saying there's a chance. I am saying there's a chance for those bulls. And what would it be? It would be something like this on the daily time frame. We do put in a higher low somewhere right around here or here. And then it goes something like this. But why is that? Why do we think there's a chance of that? Well, this is one of those kind of last screw yous to the retailers in the market. Because here's what happened to the retailers. You break the range and they buy right here, going right into this resistance line. They buy right here and, oh crap, the market's coming down. And then they sell right here. And the big boys.
Urgent from Dana. She's like, open the door. Give
What? Hello? Okay, just give me about 10 minutes and then I'll call you back, okay? Thanks. Apparently that was an urgent call.
Sorry.
It's all right. Not as urgent as this is going to be. Just kidding. It's really a live stream, and I'm not going to have time to cut this out. So what am I talking about here is a higher low coming in somewhere like this, and then the big boys. Who are the big boys? Those are accounts with $500 million. They are the ones that do it to the retailers, and they are out there, and they are not your friend. They are trying to steal your Bitcoins. And the market is rigged against you. Yes, it is. And if you don't know how to trade, you're very likely going to suffer and enjoy some pain, right? That is what we're talking about. But why is there a chance for a bounce? On the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, the average bounce is pretty darn significant. I'm only showing you a couple iterations. Here's one more. One more. Right there. Okay. Let's measure these guys out starting here. This was a 279% gainer from the low to the next high. from the low to the next high, you could perhaps call that. That's a 43% gainer. Okay, not too big. This one is 500%, or actually we could call this one 279%. This one was, excuse me, right here, 67%. This was the smallest one right here, 34%. So from this low to the next high, if we just get 34%, the lowest low, 34% would take us right up to 27,500. And if you've been watching previous videos, that has been kind of my overall upside target for the next lower high on the daily or the weekly time frame, which I do believe will set us up for another good downside play. So that is the last chance for bulls. So if we do see some kind of, so getting back in here, and so I would not have gotten stopped out. I would have been darn close, and should have added a little bit more right there. But hey, we will find out on this next kind of closure. If we get a reaction down here, and this is just another lower high, 1, 2, 3, that would be confirmed with a 15-minute closure back below 1379. So let's see what the dollar is doing. The dollar is rallying to the moon here, rallying back to the moon, and that's what I like to see for more downside. However, yeah, and this is curving up, and volatility is waning here, and there is, I would give that, let's see, 1, 2 drives of bullish divergence coming back from this point right here. And that'll be confirmed again with any kind of a closure above 107 today or tomorrow. And I do imagine if we raise rates again, I think they're going to announce the rate hike today or tomorrow, and then it goes into effect on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm never quite sure, but I know it's coming this week. We all know 75 basis points is on the board. They're even talking about 100 basis points. Okay, what else? So here's what I'm looking at on the 15-minute time frame for Ethereum. So Bitcoin leading the market to the downside. And I do believe Ethereum has more downside to go. As Ethereum had a more parabolic rally, right? Ethereum was leading the market to the upside with a 65% rally from the low just on the daily time frame. That means it's probably got, just as quick as it went to the upside is just as quick as it will go to the downside. And that's why I like taking on a bit of a risk to the downside. Again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. In fact, don't trade, period, if you don't have a trading plan, which is an entry point, an exit point, and risk management. So I showed you the risk management line, which would have held true. So far, so good. And here's how I will add to this position. If we do get a 15-minute closure below there, on the 15-minute, and Stokes crossed down below 1370. So we're pretty darn close. Could this be a backfill? Stock market still down 1.7%. Dollar is still rallying. And yep, could this just be another lower high in the making? We got 12 minutes left on this candle. What does the 5 minute say? Oh, the 5 minutes giving us a sell signal. And I will go ahead and add to that based on what? 1, 2, 3. So coming back from this high right here, you can see this is exactly how it plays out. In fact, that's exactly what Bitcoin looked like on the higher term time frame. Very similar action there. So how much do I got left in this gasoline tank here? Not much. Could we get one more bounce here off of this trend line, which that's the 0.5. So really you need the closure back below 1376 Stokes are crossed down. Volatility is already kind of waning. Again, the downside moves in a downtrend are going to be greater, right? And you do have bearish divergence coming back all the way, even from this point right here. That'd be 2 drives back to the bottom side of the range, or at least down to about this guy right here at 1371. So, do we front run the signal? We got 54 seconds left on this baby. And any kind of a closure below the 0.5 is probably going to be good enough for me on this candle. So let's just go ahead and add. The 15-minute will roll over below 1370. We got $10 left there. The 30-minute getting rejected at the 21. That looks good for more downside. Crosses down in 10 minutes below 1383. So let's add. Let's just front run it, guys. Let's front run this baby. 1379. Sell another whopping $20,000 worth of ETH. I think we're about 400 grand short right now, and I think that stop. So then where's the take profit, right? Where's the take profit on this guy right here? So if we're just doing a quick trade here, let's look on the hourly time frame to get a little better idea. Strong rejection off that. Not strong yet. We got 39 minutes left. 15-minute. I mean, the 15-minute we could still come up to 1405. So where do I want to put that stop? Let's look at it based on the hourly time frame. Yeah, I'm kind of in a no trade zone right now, but you don't want to typically sell the lower lows. You want to sell the lower highs. But we're just in such a flamboyant downtrend. I do think, based on Bitcoin already shafting down into the bottom side of the range. So here was Ethereum's range, right? Ethereum's range was like this, and some might just call me a fool for trading like this, but here was Ethereum's range, and this is kind of no man's man right here. So where else can we kind of get an idea? The volume profile. Again, if you want to figure out how to add these indicators, there's a free tutorial where we show you, and there's no volume. See how this is below here, right? There's just no volume all the way down to here. So that would be my take profit on the daily time frame, and my stop, really I could put my stop would be above this guy, which I don't want to put it that high. Where am I going to get stopped out? Above this wick. Why don't we use a shorter term time frame? And we're getting a bounce off the 200 here. And there is support coming in right there, which 1338 on a 4-hour is going to be good enough for me for a move down to this level at 1254. So do we get a bounce first? Bounce could come all the way back up to 1469. So I may have to add from one of my other accounts to the short here. RSI bouncing off right there. Do we have any bullish divergence coming up from this point right here? Yes, we have several drives. So any kind of a closure really above 1439 will look good for a bounce back to the top side of the range, coming in at 1495. And if Stokes cross up at 1387, going to look good for a bounce. And by the way, we did call this out yesterday on the 4-hour time frame, which I did play a nice little move coming down here. But we did say, hey, look, descending triangle or ascending triangle. If we broke the bottom side of the range here, something like this. And again, every once in a while that TA works out. So we had a target down there at about 1368, which was hit. So yeah, you do expect a bounce. First, the only thing is, this thing is bearish. This thing is bullish. Do we get stopped out here at the 107? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. So that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and put a stop loss in and a take profit for you guys. And really, do I want to trade it based off of the 15-minute? Which will be crossing down below 1370. We got 5 minutes left on this candle. Look at that. We came all the way down here. Is this going to be the lower high is the question. Is that going to be the lower high? So the range wick high, we had it at 1399. Let's see where else that lines up with on. So 1399. 1399 stop loss, and then take profit based on the 15-minute time frame. Here would be your take profit 1, take profit 2. Where does that line up on the hourly time frame? How about on the 4-hour? Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think, you know, maybe a little bit more likely for a bounce than not. But I do like this target right here at 1345. 1345. $13.45. Do I want to put it above the green 55? We got 4 minutes left on that candle. Will it close below 1370? 1345. So stop loss, mark it off here. And then the take profit is coming in right here with our fib retracement tool. Fib retracement tool right here. $13.47. So what is the risk to reward ratio there? A good way to calculate that is with your ruler, risking 1% to the upside. And you typically want the risk to reward be a 3-to-1 ratio. So if you risk 1%, you want to make at least 3 or 4%. Yeah, if you risk 1%, you want to make 4%. That would be a 3-to-1 ratio. And to the downside, we've got 2.66%. So not the best risk to reward. But I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today, guys. And how will I map that out? So again, 1399, 1347. 1399, 1347. It's more like a 3-to-1 ratio. Something like that. Hit confirm and then move on with my day. All right, that's it for today, guys. Hope you have a blessed and highly favored day. Hope this was helpful. Feel free to leave a comment in the description below. Thanks and have a blessed day. And again, don't trade without any kind of a trading plan. Take care.